We are back with another Age of Mythology Retold point of view game. Today we're watching Tunison, the Eranos player, playing against Divine, who is a bit of a Zeus main. Both of these guys, very top level players, and we're going to see how Tunison pilots the Eranos today. So Eranos is one of these gods where at the high level he's much better than at the lower level. It's just he has very difficult mechanics with how you need to use the sky passages to your advantage. If you don't use them, obviously you're just playing just a budget Kronos or Gaia. And he also gets Shockwave, which is a very strong god power if used right, even though it does cost 15 extra each time you use it, 15 extra favor. But your oracles do gain extra favor as well. So it's basically when do you get your oracles out? Because you definitely want to get more as the Eranos to make the most of your guys having extra line of sight, which is basically extra favor. And is it even ever worth just sitting one of them back right at the beginning to constantly have more line of sight? Probably not, but it'd be an interesting way to play with that one. But we're seeing him play against a Zeus. So what does Zeus like to do? In the current meta, Zeus likes to go through Athena most of the time, getting Minotaurs out, both their heroes and a load of hoplites. And it's definitely what they want to do against an Eranos or any Atlanteans, because Atlanteans don't have the best answers to enemy infantry, apart from just building infantry of their own, going through and getting the Bite of the Shark upgrade through Oceanus, and kind of just going Mamillo against hoplites, and the Mamillo should hopefully win that, although obviously the Athena hoplites have their double upgrades, so I'm not sure who wins that in a 1v1, but it's at least somewhat even. Looks like deciding not to get the temple up. Get the temple up in a different spot, wants it over here, rather than the defensive spot over here, but then maybe it's a bit too far away from the town center to attack it. So something that you do have to watch out for against Zeus is those hoplites tear down buildings very quickly. So it is a key thing of where you actually want to put these, where you want to put these buildings. Let's have a look at some of the relics. We found some relics here. So building damage vulnerability to crush minus 10%, probably not the most exciting relic, especially because those hoplites don't do crush damage. Villager train time minus 5%. That's obviously a good one for any civ, so if he wants to go for that one, absolutely can. And then we've got Myth Unit special attack recharge time minus 20% of base. Now trying to think of what relics Tunison could really go for as Eranos. So he has Prometheans, which don't get any bonus damage there. That's what he's also going for. It doesn't have any special. Their special is when they die, they let off little Prometheans, so that doesn't really affect them. Maybe if he's going into the heroic age, some Satyrs are going to make the most of this, and that's probably the best one you're going to get from that. Or if he would have gone through and got the Caladria out, more slows and more heals is probably maybe that's going to be the best uses of that. But it's decided to go through Prometheus, so maybe valuing getting the heroes out. Valor, you get a hero out for 1 extra favor each time, also getting an extra oracle, extra 2 oracles here. This is what we like to see. Be interesting to see where he puts these oracles. I mean, some of the defensive spots around here would be here. You really want to put them somewhere where they're not going to get attacked. You could put them next to your sentry towers. He is bringing them home nicely. He's already got a sky passage up here, and I assume he's going to put a sky passage around here, or maybe on his food site at home, maybe inside his berries. You can just jump in and out of this. Also got a gold mine quite close to this. There's a really high value sky passage right here. Also, whether he wants to go for the economic kind of route instead, but no, decided to get sky passage out. So there are 2 ways you could really use Valor. You can use them on your units to deal with enemy myth units, or you can use them on your citizens and then get the upgrade, which gets you your hero citizens gathering faster. I can't remember what that upgrade's called, but we don't even see a economic guild up, so that's definitely not what he's going for. Also getting an extra oracle out, so going to be up to 7 oracles. And if we hit P, which is my button for scouts, we can see they're all placed very nicely. This one is in an aggressive spot. Definitely needs to move that out of the way. Well noticed there that the Jason was coming through. You don't want to lose these guys. They do cost 100 resources, and early that's quite a lot. Sky Passage up on this side as well, so already ready to just jump between these hunt sources. Absolutely love this play. It's even got the berries here as well, and perfect place for the Oracle is right next to the Sky Passage. I actually kind of want to play some Eranos now. Just steal this strategy. Or this kind of idea of what you want to do. So it looks like he's just gone for the counter barracks, not gone for any barracks. I mean, if you were going for the barracks, you would more than likely go through and get Oceanus for those Mamillo, as we said earlier. Does spot that this settlement hasn't gone up. We haven't seen the other settlement, have we? Yes, yes, we have. They're all on the right side for some reason. Nothing over here. So we can see that the Zeus is deciding to stay one town center. He hasn't got the Minotaur upgrade, but we can see that he is going for military academies, which is what you'd expect. Obviously, we can't see, as Tunison, we can't see that he's queuing hoplites out, but you could just assume that double military academy means you're going to be committing. If you drop one, if you see one military academy, that could mean that it's just there just in case he wants to get the units out, or he's just constantly pumping them. You're not sure. But if you see two, you're not going to build two barracks if you're not building from them. So actually deciding to go in for the Prometheans, very interesting to see Prometheans. They're very strong against human units, but something like the Jason has 12 times damage against myth units, so these guys get teared down very, very quickly. So you kind of need to keep them away from the enemy heroes, and then they will be absolutely fine. I mean, getting out a decent handful of Terma, the Terma do very little damage, but if there's loads of them, the arrows will be able to do a decent job against the Jason and the Heracles, for that matter. No, Heracles might be able to dodge the arrows pretty well, but not overcommitting with the units just yet. Did drop a second counter barracks. Did he get up an economic guild? Yeah, so economic guild coming through, and that's it. Theft of fire. Look at all that. 20% for heroes. So actually he is using some of the valors now on the heroes, seeing that there wasn't any early attack. Unfortunately, the Catastropher's getting a bit of annoying shank action, but the villagers turn around. They're not going to be having that. And that is the end of the Catastropher's. That's what we like to see. Decent amount of Terma running around. But still seeing that he is one town center. He hasn't really seen exactly what Divine has planned, and now he does. He sees the medium hoplites and a couple of Minotaurs out, so that is definitely going to be the comp. It's the standard comp. We said it right at the start of the game. That is probably what the Zeus is going to go for. The other way is obviously get Centaurs and get some Hippias out. But the thing is with that against an Uranos is they have Catapeltes, and if the Uranos went the other way and gets the Caladria out, they can slow down the Centaurs, and you basically pick up a Centaur for free every time that special attack is up to slow them down. Terma's doing a bit of hit and run. Zeus hoplites are decently fast. You can't really turn and run that much with the Terma, especially after their nerf speed. But you can just run away from them. Although the hoplites do have a very mild counter against these Termas as well. We can see he's actually focusing down the Heracles there. I think that's where those arrows were meant to be going, because he wants the Prometheans to get value. We can see that he's hiding the Prometheans. So he's got six of these guys out. Alluvial Clay out. So these guys will also drop 3 Prometheans if and when they go down. And he's been hiding these, ready to attack. And those hoplites are in for a bit of a scare. But actually, that was just forcing Divine out. The one town center classical fight, you would assume would go in the Uranos' favor just because they can mass units out quite quickly, and the later game is going to be more than likely Zeus favored. Really nice reaction there with the villager, and also repairing up the Sky Passage. Sky Passage, they're very weak, especially against those hoplites, so good idea to get those up. And then a mana going up, getting the elephants. Basically he's made his eco very, very safe with all these manas, all these Sky Passages. You could even see a wall maybe coming up here for his Oracle to sit behind. Oracle also being a bit cheeky, looking at that gold mine. Still has the 7 Oracles, so he's got 16 favor in the bank, as well as 9 Prometheans. So, I mean, he's definitely doing all right there. Heavy Cavalry pre-queued, which is interesting, considering he's not close to the Heroic Age there. Hoplites coming through, again trying to take the Sky Passage down. Big shockwave, but whether or not he can get many kills from this, does manage to get a few sat in the middle of the army, but not too much there. Shockwave is one of those hard ones to use because it's there are a few ways to use it. I mean, the first one is on a pack of villagers to get them out of position. You can use them on a big group of units to get them out of position as well. Or really nice defensive raid here, or defense to the raid, even jumping between the Sky Passages. Hoplites coming back down this side, but the units are just ready both sides. and defends this side, then he can just jump back. He does have enough army to just half and half them, which looks like is what he's going to do. Half to come back with the Minotaurs. Minotaurs don't have their upgrade, which is interesting. You'd think you would value that because they're so fast when you get that upgrade. Unfortunately, no Caraballuses this side, but there's no heroes here, so these Prometheans are going to put in absolute work. Caraballuses are actually coming over. It looks like it's just winning on both sides. Look at the unit difference. This is what we're saying about an Atlantean. If they're just pumping units, they're going to be ahead. Some hoplites here. Needs to be a bit worried with this Caraballuser, but the line of sight of them did manage to see them and should be able to take those down without them getting too much damage. Looks like he's also spotted the villagers on this side. A huge group of units coming over. Minotaur upgrade in though, so they are a bit scarier. Prometheans will do a decent damage to them because they do have their 3x multiplier, but no heroes out to deal with them. Can drop a Valor, but 9 favor for a Valor is when it just starts to get a little bit expensive. Unfortunately, this Promethean gets a little bit lost, but gets headbutted away by the Minotaur. Lucky for the Promethean, he still wants to have a go, but unfortunately, he is going to meet his demise. Still 10 Prometheans over here though, so I think he's absolutely fine. Now just massing up an army. Pre-queuing Hyperion is getting close to the next stage, so military barracks all coming out. Mamillo, yeah, looks like he's got rid of that heavy cav. I mean, it is a good idea in general, but against a Zeus that's just building hoplites, you don't really want to go for those. I assume the military barracks are all coming down because he will want those Arcus. Arcus are going to be the best counter that he has into pure infantry. Looks like this is where the fight's going to be. Those Minotaur need to be targeted down with the Prometheans. Even a Valor on one of these Caraballuser could go pretty well. Bolt coming down on one of them. Now he could probably heroize one. Otherwise, that's where the bolt would have gone. Probably the best usage of a bolt. You don't want to bolt the Prometheans because they just let 3 little guys out. Basically, like you've not done anything there. So probably the best bolt that could have happened. There is also a decent amount of archers coming out. Just needs to hang back for his Hyperion. Or maybe just sit in and poke to make sure that Divine stays around for that. But looks like he kind of knows that there's something up. Trying to get a little cheeky pick on the Promethean. There's just so many of these guys. Also getting up to the heroic age here through Hyperion will buff these guys HP and damage. So also good to wait for that. Unfortunately, these barracks he is going to need. How many barracks does he have? He does have 5. There is 2 more coming up, so it's not a big deal. Just sacking these to save his army. Absolutely fine. Sky Passage going down here, but not really a problem. All this food is now finished. Coming up the top side, he could drop a Sky Passage this side and be absolutely fine. Now, what does he want to use this Chaos on? If he uses Chaos on all these units, it's going to last for like half a second, so not really worth it. You could do it on just the archers, then they're going to basically kill each other, or just the Minotaurs even. Maybe they're going to headbutt each other, but you don't want to use it on the whole group. Kind of want to just circle a small amount here, but we'll see what he decides to go for. Looks like he does go for the whole army, and it lasts about 2 seconds. So it is 2 seconds where they don't attack back, but I mean they just don't do that much damage to each other. But it looks like Heracles is stuck, but has a lot of Prometheans to whack. I mean, look how fast those guys do go down. But there's just so many Prometheans here. Divine is not in the heroic age, so only has 2 heroes to kind of deal with it. It looks like Tunison's just leaving the Heracles alone. I definitely could decide to take that down. I think that fight would have gone a lot better for him if he would have just focused down the Heracles with everything else. Because although he does attack slowly, those guys just would have done a bit more damage without that. So that was well played by Divine there. Sons of the Sun. This is Oracles getting more favor, which is exactly what we like. Still 7 Oracles out. And I don't believe he's lost any either, so there's a couple of overlaps, but I mean, it's very minimal, just 0.6 instead of 0.07. Really nice raid with these. Needs to just run away, because the villagers will win this fight. And yeah, nice reaction. Only loses 1. And fighting this side as well, but you just want to then just run back in. Decent amount of archers coming over. These guys are low HP. They really want to come back to the main army. Hoplites going down to those Caraballuster. Do we see the switch to Satyrs, or are we still going for Prometheans? Looks like the favor's not being spent. Maybe wants to get another chaos out. Maybe that's the plan. Chaos on this back line would do pretty good with those bull minotaurs hitting all the archers away. And we do have a decent amount of archers coming out, as we said, heavy as well. Going to be a good counter to the hoplites. It looks like Divine isn't close to the next stage, just because he is going so hard in this classical fight, which is very, very good for Tunison here. Is also deciding to move into some of these cavalry. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily expect it, but there is about half archers here, so actually it's a pretty good choice, especially with how strong Kantarius are in the horse game. Just trying to bait him out, really. Unfortunately, the Caraballister might get caught out there. What happens when you move your units back is the weak ones come to the back. So what you kind of need to do is right-click the back of them and then select the Caraballister, run them away separately, and then run everything away and kind of sack the HP of the tanky units instead. But unfortunately, does lose those out. So a bit of a win for Divine there. But Tunison trying to do little snipes with his archers. I assume Ballistics is in. Ballistics is about to come in, and that's when he'll do a little bit better in these fights against a player without Ballistics. Also managing to sneak this gold mine up here. Great thing that only Oranos can really do. And a perfect positioning here. Chaos on the back line, but restoration ready. Second restoration, which means he'll be seeing less Minotaurs. Shockwave on the army, and that is basically all of the damage dealers are here. It was a pretty nice fight for both sides, where both of their backlines are just pretty safe, but the faster units of the Kantarius will be able to run around the back. And I think that's going to be cleaning up Divine's whole army here, trying to get a little bit of shoot and run away micro here, but even the heroes coming in from the back, 8 heroes to deal with those bull minotaurs, definitely enough. They'll go down very quickly with their large multipliers. And now the Kantarius can run these guys away. Might even be worth the Kantarius trying to body block them slightly rather than just attacking the front line here. But even the archers will get a decent amount of damage off with their extra range compared to the Tox range. Really nice steal of this gold mine also. You'd assume that Divine's probably on this gold mine, but still, stealing an enemy gold mine away, why not? Survival equipment. Probably an underrated thing to buy. Especially if you're expecting a lot of raids to come through. And that was actually really well played to get those Tox back. Looks like there is a second town centre up here. Tunison decided to go for his own second town centre as well, so absolutely fine. This was definitely a delayed second town centre. We haven't really seen it. Or I think we scouted this quite a lot earlier. This gold mine is just about finished as well, which is perfect. A perfect time to come and get a raid off. Absolutely huge raid. Now, what gold mine can Divine really go for? This is the one he probably wants, but Tunison is already on this one. He can see every gold mine, I believe, except this one down here. But, I mean, that's going to be a very difficult one to get to. Pegasus can also see this gold mine is being mined from. I mean, there definitely isn't going to be a gold mine back here. So you can safely assume that Divine has no gold left. So you just need to really nice wall off here, because these are the only ones which he can't actually see. So to wall off those, he would have to run around in the line of sight of the Oranos player. Also, palace coming up, and that is when Divine decides that he doesn't have any gold, and he's probably just seen this palace and like, yep, that's it. So really, really well played there. These guys standing on their horses, and I think this shows the power of the Oranos Sky Pastures, and I think that is the thing you need to master if you want to play some Oranos. And I think that's it. I'll see you in the next one.